I do. I mean, I don't know how much it is, but I've always said, like, when I do get the money, that I'm gonna use it to pay for my college.
Do you ever wish these two could have gotten along?
Always.
Yeah.
It would be nice, stand in a room with them and not think that they hate each other, but they still both love me, so it's fine. I mean, I feel like that was like what I was used to. It was never
Normal.
like weird because that was my normal. I just grew up and I was like,
My mom was not. Jon Gosselin's daughter, Hannah, stops midway from speaking up about her mom. Ever since they were little, the Gosselin children and the family have been at the center of reality TV drama. Growing from a set of twins to include sextuplets, the family of 10 captivated and entertained thousands of American households. That didn't happen for long as tension brewed and eventually tore the family apart. Now, years later, after being away from her siblings because of the separation, Hannah Gosselin is finally speaking up about her mom, Kate Gosselin, and what she reveals is raising eyebrows. The revelation makes people question what really went on behind closed doors. It paints a complicated picture of the family dynamic the world could never have imagined. Without further ado, let's dive into what Hannah has to say and whether it changes everything we thought we knew about the Gosselin family. Growing up in the spotlight. From the moment she was born, Jon Gosselin's daughter, Hannah, was famous alongside her 7 siblings. She was one of the sextuplets featured on Jon and Kate Plus 8, a reality TV show that millions of people tuned in weekly to watch the chaotic but seemingly loving life of the Gosselin family. Every milestone of their lives was captured on camera. But while fans saw adorable toddlers, a life of twins and sextuplates, fun family outings, and Kate's famously strict parenting style, what they didn't see was the reality of growing up under the relentless pressure of the public eye. Childhood is supposed to be a time of exploration and freedom for kids. But for Hannah and her 7 siblings, it was a carefully curated production. The show didn't just document their lives, it was their lives. Production crews were constantly present, cameras were always rolling, and personal moments were often turned into television content. Imagine growing up with a microphone clipped to your shirt, knowing that every laugh, every tantrum, and every argument with your siblings is broadcast to millions of people. For Hannah, this wasn't just a phase in life. It was her entire childhood. There was never a time they could have the privacy they needed. As she and her siblings got older, the cracks in their picture-perfect family image started to show. Her parents, Jon and Kate, went from America's favorite reality TV couple to bitter exes in a highly publicized divorce. Suddenly, their household wasn't the same anymore. It wasn't a place of discipline and routine anymore, but a battleground. When the divorce got finalized in 2009, it didn't just split Jon and Kate, it split the whole family. Siblings who were used to each other every day had to go separate ways. The aftermath of their separation played out everywhere in the media, with Jon and Kate both giving interviews that painted vastly different pictures of their story, from parenting styles to home life. In the end, Kate retained primary custody of the children, while Jon fought to maintain a role in their lives. As their feud deepened, the kids were caught in the middle, and the worst happened. While all the kids were to go with Kate, Hannah didn't want to. This didn't come as a surprise, as Hannah had always been different from her siblings. Even at a young age, she appeared to resist the strict structure Kate enforced in the household. While many of her siblings stayed silent, Hannah often looked visibly uncomfortable in certain moments on the show. Clips resurfaced over the years, showing instances where Kate appeared to be particularly harsh with Hannah. Some fans even speculated that she was singled out more than the others. Despite all this, Hannah never spoke out. For years, she played the role that was expected of her. The obedient daughter, the reality TV star, the child who followed the rules. But behind the scenes, something was clearly shifting. As she approached her teenage years, she started spending more time with her father, Jon, and by 2018, she had made a life-changing decision, one she should have made years ago. She wanted to live with him full-time. But why? What had happened in the years leading up to that moment that made her choose Jon over Kate? The truth, it seems, is finally beginning to surface. The custody battle that changed everything. Like we have mentioned before, Initially, Kate was awarded primary custody of all 8 children, while Jon was granted visitation rights. At the time, the court ruled out, and of course the public too clearly saw Kate as the more responsible parent. After all, she was the one who continued raising the children while Jon faced backlash for his post-divorce lifestyle. The divorce seemed to have affected him as he was being irresponsible, often seen partying in Las Vegas, and all these painted him as an unfit father. Meanwhile, Kate remained in the family home and continued raising the kids under her well-known, and often criticized, strict parenting style. For years, the custody arrangement seemed perfect. The children remained with Kate, and while Jon fought for more involvement in their lives, he wasn't able to gain much ground in court. But as the kids grew older, things shifted, especially for Hannah. Unlike her siblings, she began to spend more time with Jon. She would visit him for longer periods, and he often spoke about how much he loved having her around. While the public assumed this was just a close father-daughter relationship, it was actually the beginning of a major change. In 2015, Jon publicly claimed that he hadn't seen all of his kids together in years, suggesting that Kate was limiting his access to them. But at the same time, Hannah's relationship with her father was growing stronger. She was the only child who seemed willing to push back against her mother's control, and by 2017, rumors began swirling that she wanted to live with Jon permanently. And so it happened. That year, Jon and Kate's long-standing custody battle took a dramatic turn. Jon filed for custody of Hannah, arguing that she had expressed a clear desire to leave Kate's home and live with him instead. This move shocked many fans who had assumed the Gosselin children would always remain with their mother. But Hannah's decision wasn't made lightly. It was a choice that carried serious emotional weight. And maybe now we may know why. By 2018, after years of legal battles and behind-the-scenes tension, Hannah officially moved in with Jon full-time and was later joined by her brother Colin. It was a rare victory for him, but it also raised even more questions, especially to the fans. Why had the two chosen to leave? Was it because of Kate's parenting style? Was there more to the story that the public didn't know? Even after her move, Hannah remained quiet about the details. She never directly criticized her mother, but her decision to leave spoke volumes. Now, as she begins to open up about her experience, the truth about what really happened behind closed doors is finally coming to light. Hannah's relationship with her mom. So, how was Hannah's mother with her mom? While the bond of a mother and daughter is supposed to be unbreakable, for her and her mom, Kate, it has always been complicated. It may have looked perfect from the outside, as Kate was seen as a strong, disciplined parent, raising 8 children on her own. But as time went on, subtle cracks began to show. Cracks that eventually led Hannah to make a life-changing decision of leaving her mother's home where her siblings were to live with her father. Hannah has never spoken out in full detail about what life with Kate was really like, but she has dropped hints over the years. In one interview, she carefully chose her words, saying, "My mom is a lot," before stopping herself from clarifying more. What did she mean by a lot? That her mother was too strict, controlling, emotionally distant. While she didn't finish what she wanted to say, that sentence alone left people wondering. Throughout their time on Jon and Kate Plus 8, Kate was known for her firm and sometimes harsh parenting style. She was a mother managing 8 kids who were all the same age apart from her twins, and her need for structure was understandable. However, there were moments on the show that made some viewers uncomfortable, especially when it came to Hannah. Some fans pointed out that sometimes Kate seemed to single Hannah out more than the others, often scolding her in a way that felt different from how she treated her siblings. Was it just tough love, or was there a deeper issue between them? That's something we might never know. Over the years, former crew members and even Jon himself have hinted that life behind the cameras was much stricter than what the audience saw. Jon has suggested that Kate's parenting style was beyond just strict. It was controlling. He claimed that Hannah, in particular, struggled with it and wanted out. But why Hannah? Why was she the only one, besides her brother Colin, who ultimately decided to leave? Some believe that the reason might be that Hannah was much like Kate. She had always had a strong personality, one that clashed with Kate's desire for complete order and control. Others think she simply wanted the freedom that she felt she couldn't have in her mother's home. When Hannah moved in with Jon full-time in 2018, it wasn't just a shift in living arrangements, it was a public statement. She had chosen her father over her mother, something that no other Gosselin child had done at the time. This decision may have caused a strain not only between Hannah and Kate, but also between Hannah and her siblings. Things were different, but at the end of the day, they were siblings, and nothing could ever change that. Not even their parents' clashes. They often talked and even wished that sometimes they could also get the courage to join Colin and their father. Despite all of this, Hannah has never spoken harshly about her mom. Even in interviews where she had the opportunity to share her experiences, she remained diplomatic, only hinting at the challenges she faced. Perhaps she still holds some level of respect for her mother, or maybe she's choosing to keep certain details private for now. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Hannah's relationship with her mom has never been simple, and now that she's beginning to find her voice, the world may finally learn what really happened behind closed doors. Life with Jon, a different perspective. After moving in with Jon, life became easier, and Hannah started to open up, just a little. She described her life with her dad as normal and free, words that hinted at a contrast between the two households. She saw a different side of him than what the media portrayed him to be. Jon, who had long accused Kate of being controlling, supported Hannah's decision and even suggested she had been unhappy for years. He was present, caring, and most importantly, gave her a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in her mother's home. The first days when she started spending time with him, it wasn't just about weekend visits. It felt like she was experiencing a different kind of family life, one that wasn't dictated by constant discipline, rigid schedules, or the pressures of being in the public eye. Hannah has once openly said that living with Jon felt normal. It may look like a simple word, but it carries so much weight. After years of being under the spotlight, under strict rules, and in an environment where she felt she couldn't fully express herself, normalcy was exactly what she was looking for. With Jon, she wasn't one of 8 kids being managed under a structured routine. She was just Hannah. It was easy, and she had the most fun with her dad. Jon has spoken about how much he enjoys having Hannah with him, describing their bond as close and unbreakable. He has also made it clear that he supports her decisions and trusts her to have a voice in her own life. This was a stark contrast to the way Kate ran her household, where rules were rules meant to be kept, and questioning authority wasn't always an option. One of the biggest questions people have asked is whether Jon influenced Hannah's decision to leave Kate's home. Did he encourage her to move in with him? Did he plant the idea in her head? According to Hannah, the choice was hers. She has stated that she felt happier and more comfortable with her dad, and she was ready to make that transition. And when she asked her dad about it, he couldn't be happier. Since living with Jon, Hannah has kept her life relatively private. She occasionally shares glimpses of her experiences on TikTok, but she hasn't revealed too many details about what made her leave Kate's home in the first place. Perhaps she wants to protect her family, or maybe she's waiting for the right time to tell her full story. The untold story. Now that she's old enough, Hannah has decided to speak up about her mother. She recently started hanging out with her siblings, and it seems that she's now ready to set the record straight for the world. My mom was not the villain some people have made her out to be, Hannah finally states firmly, after a long pause. But she wasn't perfect either. No parent is. With this balanced perspective, Hannah begins to share insights into daily life in the Gosselin household under her mother's leadership. According to Hannah, she and Kate had a strained relationship. This was because leaving with her mom was unbearable, according to inside sources. Other factors were how her mom treated her siblings. Everything had a system. Mom would always remind us that we were representatives of the brand. My mom was not just raising children. She was managing how we all appeared to the world, and I think that's just sad. What made Hannah's relationship strain further was how her mom treated her brother Colin. During an interview for Vice TV's documentary, Hannah claimed that Colin would be separated from her and their other siblings while they were growing up. Like, He would not get to come outside and play with us. He would eat dinner at different times than us. She went on ahead to say that her mom had built a containment room for Colin where he would be locked up. They never knew why, but her mom would say that she was defending them from Colin's troubled behavior. Hannah didn't like how Kate was physically aggressive, verbally, and very abusive with the things she would say when correcting them. It was not good, and she was tired of it. Everyone was shocked by Hannah's revelation. There had always been speculation that Kate was tough and strict, but they had never thought it was to that extent. This was not good. But despite these challenges, Hannah emphasizes that her mother still provided stability during tumultuous times and worked tirelessly to create opportunities for her children. There are many positive qualities I've inherited from her: determination, work ethic, resilience. Those are gifts I'll carry throughout my life. Rebuilding bridges, the complicated path to family healing. Now that we know about Hannah and Kate's strained relationship, do you think there's hope of rebuilding bridges? We all know that the fractures within the Gosselin family didn't just happen overnight, and Hannah acknowledges that healing these divisions will similarly require time and patience. Years of public feuding between Jon and Kate created seemingly insurmountable barriers, with the children inevitably caught in the middle of their parents' ongoing conflicts. For a long time, it felt like we had to choose sides, Hannah explains. That's an impossible position for any child, regardless of age. The tension extended beyond the parent-child relationships to affect sibling bonds as well, as the children living with Kate had limited contact with Hannah and Colin after they moved in with Jon. Hannah describes early attempts at reconciliation that often faltered due to unresolved anger and hurt on all sides. My mom was probably hurt when I chose Dad over her, and she's not ready to hear my perspective, and I probably wasn't ready to understand hers either. We both needed time and space. Hannah admits that communication between her and her mother has evolved through various stages, from complete estrangement to cautious text exchanges and occasional visits. Even with her siblings, they are now able to casually meet, unlike before. Progress hasn't been linear, with setbacks and misunderstandings sending them back to square one multiple times. There's a lot of history to work through, and sometimes old patterns emerge when we least expect them. The most significant progress has come from Hannah's efforts to maintain relationships with her siblings, particularly the 4 sextuplets who remained with Kate. "They're part of me in a way no one else can understand," she once said in an interview. "I love them. I will always love them. We shared everything from the womb to this bizarre childhood experience. That bond can bend, but it never completely breaks." Hannah describes orchestrating casual meetups with her siblings, especially her sister Leah, with whom they recently went on a sister shopping spree together. She makes sure to meet her siblings away from parental supervision, creating neutral spaces where they can reconnect without the pressure of family politics. When it's just us, we can be honest about our experiences without worrying about loyalty to either parent. Professional family therapy has played a role in addressing some of the deeper wounds, though Hannah admits that getting all family members to participate consistently has been challenging. Healing isn't something you can force or rush. Everyone has to be ready in their own time. Hannah maintains hope for eventual reconciliation, even as she acknowledges that the relationship with her mother may never return to what it once was. "We're different people now. I think the goal isn't to go back to how things were, but to create something new that works for who we've all become. The truth we may never know." Despite everything that has been said, hinted at, or speculated about, the full truth behind Hannah Gosselin's decision to leave her mother's home may never be completely known. While she has offered glimpses into her and her siblings' experiences, she's still trying to be as respectful to her mother as she can, being careful with her words despite telling the truth. But we can all agree that there are still so many unanswered questions. If life was that bad with Kate, why did she never speak out? And what about her siblings? Did they share similar feelings, but choose to stay with their mom? Or do they see Kate differently than Hannah does? For now, Hannah seems to be at peace with her decision, choosing to focus on her life with Jon rather than dwell on the past. Whether she will ever share more details or convince her siblings to share theirs remains uncertain. Some stories are meant to be told in full, while others stay locked away for personal reasons. One thing we can all agree on is that Hannah's departure from her mother's home changed the Gosselin family dynamic forever. And unless she chooses to reveal more, the real story behind her choice may remain a mystery. What's next for Hannah Gosselin? Now that Hannah Gosselin is stepping into adulthood, she has the freedom to shape her own future, away from the intense public scrutiny that defined her childhood. No longer bound by custody battles or parental decisions, she finally has full control over her own narrative. But what will she do with it? For now, Hannah has chosen to keep much of her personal life private, being active only on TikTok for her fans. Unlike her mother, who has continued to remain in the public eye, Hannah appears to prefer a quieter, more normal existence. She has shared small glimpses of her life with Jon on social media, but she hasn't fully opened up about her past or her plans for the future. Will she choose to leave the past behind and move forward without looking back? Now at 20, Hannah has endless possibilities. She could pursue a career, further her education, or even return to the entertainment industry on her own terms. Whether she decides to step into the spotlight again or remain in the shadows, one thing is clear. Hannah is no longer just Jon and Kate Gosselin's daughter. She is her own person, and her journey is just beginning. But the Gosselin family saga is far from over. Though Hannah has given us glimpses into her experience and revelations about her mom, the world is yet to hear from Kate Gosselin. Will she admit to being a rather strict, demanding, and controlling mother? For now, all we can do is wait. But one thing we can all agree is that Jon Gosselin's daughter Hannah has finally spoken up about her mom, and it's not good. What do you think of the revelation? Did anything in particular about Hannah's revelation resonate with your own family experiences? Feel free to share your thoughts and story in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Catch you in the next one.